Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I wanted to go over some things that I'm sure you have heard about going on in the news. I wanted to report on about two stories for this video. And look, we've been seeing so many women this week in positions of power, also everyday women. It could be me, it could be you, who have been taken off of the planet by their husbands, by their boyfriends. And it continues. Okay, we have a huge femicide rate here in the United States, and Black women, we have the highest femicide rates, even though we make about 6 or 7% of the population as Black women here in America. I mean, we saw what happened to the governor in Florida, what happened to her. There's also another woman who is missing on a cruise ship. They think she might have been overboard, put overboard by her husband. I don't know for sure. Okay, we saw what just happened to Ashley Janae, okay, over in Tanzania in Africa. And now we have this, and we continue to see it, okay? It says that ex-Virginia Democrat Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax took his life, and he took the life of his wife, okay? He unalived her and he took his life. He didn't take the life of the kids, of their children. Thankfully, they're okay. But now they have to grow up without their mother. Okay, they don't have their father, they don't have their mother, and you don't get over something like this. And there are some allegations. I thought I had heard of him before. There were allegations against him of SA, and this was back in around 2019, 2020, I think 2019. From 2019, years later, look what has happened, and he has taken his wife off of the planet. Also, there's an article that said that he could not find work because I believe he lost his job, and the essay allegations and everything just spiraled out of control, and she wanted to get a divorce from him. There have been so many women this week who have been unalived because they wanted to divorce their husbands. Okay, so I want to share with you what is going on when it comes to this story. What happened? Okay, again, this is the ex-Virginia Democratic Lieutenant Governor. So this was his wife, beautiful, accomplished woman. She was a doctor, okay, mother of his children, and her life has ended. Okay, she didn't, like most women, you don't always see it coming. Yeah, you might have arguments with your man, your husband. He might even throw things or punch a wall. Sometimes you can fear for your life, and sometimes you just think, oh, he would never do something like that to me. And sometimes it can be out the blue where men, their testosterone build up, they just snap. And in some cases, it's been planned out and everything. Okay, the man had these SA allegations, and then she wanted to leave him, from what I have been reading, and he probably just couldn't take it because he had lost everything. Or maybe she realized maybe he was guilty. Maybe he was guilty and she wanted to get away from him and leave him. Okay, so they were married, beautiful couple, had their kids, and it says that she graduated from Duke University, okay, and later earned her, let me zoom in on this. I'm sorry. Later earned her Doctor of Dental Surgery degree in 2005, okay? So also it says, okay, so doctor, hold on, let me zoom in. Sorry, y'all. Dr. Serena Fairfax. Okay, now she is no longer here. So let's get into it of what exactly happened. I want to read a little bit from this article. Okay, let me put their picture up real quick. Okay, let's see what it says. Give me a quick little second. All right, it says that ex-Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax, who was once viewed as a rising political figure and star in the Virginia Democratic Party, the politics, and his wife, okay, he fatally unalive with the GUN, with the weapon, his wife, Serena Fairfax, in the basement of their home early Thursday morning before turning it on himself in the upstairs primary bedroom. They had been locked in they were about to get a divorce, basically. She filed in July of 2025 with her installing multiple cameras throughout the home as part of the proceedings. Okay. In January of 2026, he called the police alleging she put hands on him, but officers reviewed the footage and determined that that was not true at all. Filing no charges, last month, a judge awarded her custody of their two teenage children and ordered him to vacate the family home by April 30th. Okay, coming up real soon. He had recently been served with paperwork for a 3-day asset division trial. Who's going to get what when it comes to the home, the money, all that stuff. It was scheduled to begin April 21st, just a few days from now, which police said may have triggered him in this dispute. Okay, it's getting real close. Okay, and they were still living together when their older son called 911 just after midnight, and both of them were pronounced no longer here, deceased at the scene. Okay, it says that they're saying he's 47. Okay, he allegedly took her life. No, he did take her life. Okay, their son again called 911 after midnight. Both children, a teenage boy and a teenage girl, were inside the home when it happened. They probably heard the loud arguing, the screaming, and everything. The police say the couple was separated but still living together, which is always dangerous, and sleeping in separate bedrooms in a messy divorce. Always dangerous, usually for the woman. Okay, investigators believe that he was okay, it says that they believe that Justin Fairfax, being recently served court paperwork for this upcoming divorce proceedings, that probably was the spark again. And he was considered a rising star in the Democratic Party. His career was derailed by SA allegations. Police Chief Kevin Davis called it a tragic fall from grace for a family that seemed to have everything going for them. Our thoughts are with the children and their family. Okay, it says that, okay, I'm just going to skip through. I kind of read that already. Okay, they reviewed the camera footage again. They were going through a messy divorce. It says that he returned to practicing law after serving as lieutenant governor from 2018 to 2022. In 2019, he faced SA allegations from two women who he repeatedly denied doing this while welcoming investigations into the claims, saying that he was confident they would clear his name. Both their children are now being cared for by their grandparents and other family members. Okay, so let's see real quick. Let's see. In February of 2019, this is the grape allegations. Senator Kamala Harris, called for an investigation into SA allegations against him, stating that the accuser's accounts actually had credibility. Kamala Harris joined other Democrats in urging him to resign because of these allegations from the two women, marking a significant turning point in his political career that ended in 2022. Vanessa Tyson accused him of SA in 2024, and Meredith Watson accused him of grape in 2000. Okay, Kamala Harris, along with other people in the 2020 Democratic hopefuls, okay, they don't have all of that, but she wanted him to kind of step down. Okay, let's see. They were investigating. He denied these allegations and said that it was a smear campaign against him. A smear campaign. So, I'm just, number one, imagine what the children are going through, hearing more than likely screams and fighting, dangerous enough and getting heated that the son called 911. So he had these allegations. Could he have been guilty? Of course. Could it be a smear campaign? In this world, yes, that could be true too. But Kamala said that there was, to take it serious, they did an investigation. It could be very true. I don't know all the details. I don't know if the women had a grape kit. There are a lot of men in positions of power and noble positions and jobs who grape women a lot. So I'm definitely not going to say that can't be true. So clearly she didn't divorce him, but maybe she thought it was true, or I don't know. He said that he couldn't find work, and basically the dream that they had was kind of being destroyed, and there were problems in the marriage. And look, she was still living with him. This is always a mistake for so many women, whether you are married or not. This is why there are women who will tell you when you want to leave your man, your boyfriend, or your husband, and you live together, it becomes very dangerous for a woman because they were sleeping in separate beds, but a man, come on, ladies. We know men, they expect coochie. And if they're told no, especially if you're married, that can turn them very violent and aggressive. Okay? Especially he wakes up in the night, he wants some, he knocks on the door, you tell him no. They can grape you. They become very aggressive or throw things. They become very angry. That is a fact because a man cannot live in the home with a woman he is not sleeping with. If you live with him, he expects it. Even if you're going through a divorce, you know how men could be, and they think they're more entitled, and you have to say yes because you were married. And not only that, but she had filed the paperwork. They had mentioned they were about to see who gets what, the assets. There are a lot of men who don't want you to get the house. They don't want to share custody or you get custody. They don't want to pay alimony. That's why you see a rising number of powerful men. I've been seeing this, putting everything in their parents' names and everything, so that if something happens and a divorce takes place, they will leave their wife, the mother of their children, out in the cold because they don't want you to have anything. Okay? So it was a lot of tension. They said it was messy. I don't know the situation. I don't know if she I don't know what's going on, why she couldn't leave the house. I don't know. I don't know. But there are women, sometimes there are men who pretend that they're okay. And that I saw this a few months ago. This woman said her husband was handling the divorce well. She wanted a divorce, and she said handling it. He's doing so well handling it. I don't know why I'm having a tongue twister, but within days he took her out, and she didn't see it coming because he was pretending to be, a mature adult. I can handle this. And then she was off the planet. And maybe, who knows, maybe he put up a front. Maybe he pretended that he was okay with the divorce happening. And then the realization that it was coming. I mean, it's the 17th, the 21st, just a few days from now. Then all of a sudden, he snapped. And I think that once he took her out, he realized what he did. And it happens. I'm not saying it's not right, but it happens when you realize, when you act on your emotions. A person who isn't thinking clearly and they're angry and they get the weapon and just take you out, then he realizes, oh my God, what did I just do? He realized that more than likely and then turned the weapon on himself. Okay? That's what happened more than likely. And it's horrible what happened to her. He went after her. And we see this all the time. And people are saying, what's going on? Is there an increase? First of all, I'm happy that there's starting to be a little bit of a discussion of Black women and femicide, because I and a few other Black women have been talking about this for a few years, because people are saying this is just off the chart this week and last week. I'm seeing so many women, so many, especially Black women, being taken out left and right. And these are women with good jobs and careers, educated, and not the stereotypes. Whether you're the stereotype or not, you don't deserve to be taken out by your man or your husband. And there's been a splash of women not Black as well. being taken off of the planet. And women think, and a few men, but it's always interesting when I see these stories splashed all over TikTok. I always look in the comment section, and you know what stands out to me? I never see a large amount of men in the comments. Every time a woman is raped, or a girl, the story, or a smurder that's disgusting and horrible, I don't see many men, just women in agony and sympathizing and wanting justice. But the men, that tells you something. That tells you something. They're never giving support, empathy. They're not outraged, a number of them. They don't give a damn, a lot of them, from my observation, because they're very quiet when you see these things happen. A few of them will say something, but it doesn't compare to the amount of women all in the comment section and talking about it and angry about it. And I have to tell you, ladies, men have been raping and taking us off the planet for hundreds and thousands of years. You have to remember that the news wasn't like what it is today. There have always been men claiming that their wife left them back in the old days. My wife left me. She just packed up and left. And people believed it, not knowing the wife is buried in the backyard, or buried in the back of the hut and all this other stuff. People don't know. You can tell them anything. The news wasn't like what it is today. Men been raping all over the globe and taking their wives out. Okay? South Africa, one of the great capitals of the world. India, do you not see? Watch the news about India too. Every single week over dowries and stuff, and or having a girl child. It's constant. It ain't never stop. But men run the world. I keep saying that. So you're not going to see what you need to see. They're not going to be outraged or have a lot of empathy all the time, and you're not going to see justice for women on the planet, because the group that is harming and endangering you are the ones that run it. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, it's not a new phenomenon that men are taking us out and raping us and the children. This has been going on. That's why there are laws to help try to improve. It's still a long way to go on that, but yeah, I will say, yeah, it does appear a little bit. It appears you're seeing so many of these women left and right. And I will say that it does seem that a lot of men have become even more angrier. They're always talking about feminism, which never did anything to them at large. Um, they talk about that. They talk about the traditional old days in the 1950s and being angry that they can't get um, a wife slash concubine slash maid, a wife appliance, as it's called, all types of stuff, being upset at women being able to leave if they're not happy, having enough money to be able to leave if she's not happy, where she doesn't have to be full on dependent on her abusive boyfriend or husband. Because that is what it is about a lot, okay? A number of them don't want you to have the option to be able to walk away and be fine and to leave. A lot of them. That's what it's really about, this anger type of thing. Having the power to choose and to be able to walk away and not having to be a slave and being in a situation where you can't leave. Okay? And financial abuse is a real thing in a lot of relationships and everything. So yeah, this has been going on for a minute, and we see it. A lot of men say women again are emotional, but the number one gender taking us out every minute, literally, and children, are men. Who's doing the raping of the children and the women? The men. Who is unaliving us constantly every day? The men. Black women. Everybody is going crazy about Ashley Janae, and I talked about her because he was white. Meanwhile, every day on Black Girl Tragic, a black woman has been taken off the planet, has been chopped up and put in suitcases, set on fire, and stabbed and all of that by her black boyfriend and husband. every day as I speak, and it is on Black Girl Tragic. You can see it, or the gun memorial. Yes, it's always been very real, but for some reason, as soon as the man is white, everybody has to have a field day. Okay, and then look what happens within a day or two. Now she's taken off the planet. Okay, so a lot of people are saying, stop making everything racial. Women are in danger, period. Men are taking us out left and right. And yes, again, Black women in America have the highest amount of femicide. So y'all better understand that you are in danger. And any race of man could take you out. Anyone with common sense and who watches the news knows that. But when it comes to in the Black community, you're being taken out like it's a sport by Black men every single week, and it is serious. Okay, so that conversation, people are talking about it slightly a little bit more, but look at this. I mean, people didn't expect to see this. This is two accomplished people doing very well in their life, married with children, and he's in politics, trying to move up in politics, and look what ends up happening. Look what ends up happening. Okay, I just saw today another woman, beautiful woman, was taken out by her husband because she filed for divorce. And I'm just thinking, damn, like so many men just cannot take it. A woman wanting to just, I mean, I know people fall in love, they get attached, or they have kids. Um, and they don't like the idea of her leaving, getting another man, or just stepping away. Sometimes it's about the money. They don't want to pay child support. They don't want you to get the house. They don't want another man to sleep with you. All of that. And a lot of men can turn very aggressive. I have seen this personally when this guy I was talking to snapped on me. Okay? The thought that I was going to talk to another man, okay, and yanked me by my arm. And I saw a completely different side of that man, okay? And I'm not going to say no more. Men, they can snap. A number of them. We get angry too. It's different. Men are more aggressive. They have more testosterone. That's why if you want to leave, you don't tell them that usually. Not unless you have everything planned and you can dip out. Personally, a lot would say just leave first and then explain later, because you're in danger. A lot of women, especially having to still live in the house with him, and that man is going to come knocking on that door and try to sleep with you, and you don't want to, and become more aggressive and everything. Okay, so speaking of that, let me show you something else real quick. Okay, this woman, she was just, her man put hands on her. Okay, this was literally the next day from what just happened, and she said she thought she wasn't going to live anymore. Her neighbor called the police. I want you to take a good look at her face. Take a good look. Look at her face. Her one eye's kind of shut. She has a busted lip. Her nose looks almost broken. Her face is completely swole. She says she had the strength to fight just long enough until the police arrived. And I want to warn you, this is what she looked like in the middle. Look at her. Look at her in the middle. That is what she normally looks like. Beautiful. Look at her on the left. Two different people. And there he go on the right. That's what he did. They have 2 children together. And this just, I mean, you know, a lot of women will say, look, you need to get mace. That can help, but the truth is a lot of times you're not going to win against a man on average. Not on average, okay? Thankfully, the neighbor called the police. I just wanted to show you her picture that, you know, it could be any one of us. A man that you think is very loving towards you can still snap. A man that you date who has no history or he doesn't have any record from a police station of putting hands on women can still snap on you. A man who has loved you and has been kind to you, depending on the situation, can snap on you and beat you, even if he's never done that in his life. Okay? So you have to be careful. I always say, look at the signs. Observe a man's temper. How does he react when he's angry? Does he throw things? Does he hit things? What's the look in his eye? Okay. Does he play fight with you? I don't do that. No. Does he like to play fight with you and kind of squeeze you hard and everything? Is he easily jealous when you talk to men or if you have accomplishments? Does he obsessively call you? If you said, I'll call you back, and he obsessively calls you and doesn't give you a chance to call him back, signs of being obsessive. These are some things you can look for, and sometimes you don't see, honestly, sometimes you don't see any signs and it just happens and you don't expect it. Okay, so that's it for the stories for right now. Okay. And I want to know, what do you think about all of this? What we're seeing? Yes, there does appear to, it seems to be, and I'm not, well, they say an increase with men coming at us, and you see it being reported more on the news. I think, well, it's always been here. That's a fact. It could be, I think it does appear to be a little bit of an increase. You know, a lot of men are very anti women, more than what I've ever seen growing up these days. I see it constantly, the red pill, the manosphere, men who don't have access to women becoming even more aggressive, men who do, men wanting to be in their princess era, not give a woman anything, being easily jealous, these conversations about so much stuff when it comes to being able to control a woman. I heard about that grape group they found with 62 million men are online, a part of a group about how to grape their wives and girlfriends and share photos of it. 62 million men. Okay. But if you watch the news, especially around the world, a lot of men are. They're rapists, a lot of them. Okay. So, and many positions of power, church going men, priests, firefighters, police officers, school teachers, politicians, medical workers, nurses, doctors, therapists, all of them, a lot of them. Okay, so look, that is it. Let me know what you think about what you see going on around the country when it comes to women and the sad increase that we've been seeing of women being taken off the planet. All right, so that's it. You all take care. Bye, everybody.